Georgia comes to Tuscaloosa, at least when I went to bed last night, as the betting favorite to beat Alabama. Nick Saban's gone, so it's okay now. Nobody's going to come and knock on Vegas's doors and say, what are you doing? Alabama's okay to be an underdog at home, and they are with Georgia coming to town. You got the dogs coming barking, those fans coming to Tuscaloosa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. But Alabama feels pretty good. Can I make a case? Okay, tell me where I'm wrong.
Okay.
Jalen Milroe, another year in a different system. He's going to be. He's got to feel more comfortable than he did when he beat Georgia last year for the SEC championship. Alabama's offensive line has to be as good as when they beat Georgia last year in the SEC championship game. Alabama's receivers with Ryan Williams, I think they've got a better set of playmakers with Bernard and Williams than Alabama had at receiver last year when they beat Georgia for the SEC championship. There's no Brock Bowers putting on his little blue tights and his red cape with an S on his chest coming out there, and you got to double team him everywhere. I don't feel like the dogs are as good in the offensive and defensive trenches as they were last year when Alabama beat them in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium over there. What am I missing here? Alabama's got to feel pretty good about this, right?
Yeah, I think so. One of the things that hasn't gotten a lot of attention with this Georgia team, and it's reflective of their depth and how talented they truly are, but this is also a defensive line that has been without Michael Williams since the Clemson game. All right, Warren Brinson missed all of camp with an Achilles injury. Nazir Johnson has been injured. Xavier McLeod injured. They are playing down several primary playmakers in the defensive front, and nobody's been really talking about it. And in a game like this, that's where I think depth, where Alabama could have an advantage. Because the way I look at this is if you're Georgia, you're lining up and saying, all right, Jalen Milroe, you are going to have to throw the football consistently, accurately throughout the course of the game. And if you do, we're going to shake your hand and say, hey, congratulations, nice win. But we are not going to die by the run. And I would be willing to bet that they are going to sell out, load that box, prepare for quarterback run, prepare for Jam Miller, that whole group of running backs. It's a really good running back room. And okay, do you give up an explosive to Ryan Williams? Yeah, maybe you do. Okay, but I put all of my chips to the table if I'm Georgia on defense, and if I'm going to lose this game, I'm going to dive through the air and force Jalen Milroe to consistently beat me.
Speaking of through the air, Steve, in our mybookie.ag chat room, Bama's secondary is problematic. Where are you right now?
They're young.
Yeah, where are you right now against Carson Beck, who's a veteran, and Alabama's secondary? That could be the matchup where Alabama could have some issues.
Yeah, they're problematic a bit, but it's not because of talent. It's lack of experience and age and maturity and viable reps. And that's going to get better and better and better. And I think actually having a bye helps, correct some of that stuff too from a technical and fundamental standpoint on the field. But yeah, you might have some hiccups. You may have some mental busts. You may have a bad alignment by a young player. And is Georgia capable of taking advantage of that? Absolutely. I think the thing you got to be cautious of every time you play Georgia is they are such a strong, heavy play action pass team that and it's because they've been able to effectively run the football on people. And when you can do that, and that wasn't necessarily the case against against Kentucky, because now all of a sudden your play pass game turns into more of a drop back game because you're not setting it up with the type of run game that you're accustomed to having. So for me, I think this thing is one of those matchups where the teams are so evenly matched that it's going to come down to mistakes. Not necessarily one team just making more plays and this and that. Who avoids the errors that will plague you and cost you the football game?